John, welcome to Winnipeg. How's it feel to swap teams and start your new chapter in Winnipeg?
It feels very, you know, I think it's heartwarming understanding that I'm coming to a team that's, has a lot of not only character, but I feel like, I've said before, prestige. I feel like it's an opportunity for me to join something bigger than myself.
It's interesting. You haven't been in this league a long time, but you've made your mark. You've been a guy who kind of did the unorthodox. You re-signed a contract after your rookie deal. You've gone through this part of the business, signed with a new team. Like, what have you kind of learned about the pro side of football through this experience?
There's a business aspect, to everything, and I think, just me understanding that, was re-signing when I did at that time in Edmonton. I found a home at that time, and I felt like it was the best decision for me. Just continuing to be in the CFL just for a short amount of time, I feel like it's something that a growing part of myself to where I realize that business is business and personal is personal. So the decision with me coming here is, personal and business.
As part of that business, we know about the signing bonus or whatever. That's set in stage, so you can get in a situation where you're not thinking about where you might be in February or free agency. I'm imagining a lot of teams would have looked at that, was wondering what Edmonton was doing, and then ultimately when they made their decision, I'm sure there was a lot of talk. How much action did you get over those few days, and ultimately what made you choose the Bombers?
Honestly, the action after I had a conversation with the new GM, didn't really go too far. He pretty much let me know on the business aspect. If I wanted to change my numbers, then I could still be there. I feel like that, like I said, it's a business at the same time, and I feel like there's a value for myself to where, I'm never going to ask for everything, but at the same time, I'm going to ask for what I feel like I can get for myself. And at the same time, I think now, me realizing, with Winnipeg, I've always wanted to be a winner, and I felt like that it was just a perfect circumstance.
I'm wondering for you, what do you think you can bring to this team? Obviously, Winnipeg's had a lot of success over the years. I'm sure you've watched them over your time. You've certainly played against them. What do you think you can bring to the blue and gold?
More than likely, I probably would just say, me being myself, I pride myself being on a hard worker and pride myself on being, with most of us, coming to see the game, an entertainer. And that's something that with not only my offseason, I feel like that it will show with me coming to the team. One thing that I asked Zach Caleros what he needed out of me was to buy in. And I feel like I said, that's something coming to a very, very, very great organization that I feel like I need to do. And that's what they're going to get out of me, buying in.
CFL is a small world. Do you know anybody else on the Bombers? Whether it was in college days or playing pro, and what attracted you to Winnipeg from a player who was on the outside the last few years?
I would say every time that I face Winnipeg, and I more than likely know that the game wasn't going to go my way, attracted me a lot. I think being able to see guys like Willie Jefferson, and I played with Kenny Lawler before he returned, so the way he spoke so highly of Winnipeg, it definitely was a big boost.
Who else did you hear from, Dillon, to help you maybe make up your mind about coming here?
All the guys were Zach Caleros, Brady Oliveira, Willie Jefferson, Tony Jones. I would say those are all the guys. A former player, Dakota Prukop, was a big help, who played with me last year in Edmonton.
What about some of the conversations you had with Zach? Just take us through a little bit of things you guys kind of talked about to kind of get yourselves together.
Really, we just spoke on, how I could not only help the team, but more my questioning, for him was what I can do for him and seeing what do you need out of me to, be the best quarterback you are. And I felt like that, just from my conversation, I give high praise where it's deserved, and I think that's kind of what you're asking. I praised him a lot, and I was glad that he was welcoming me.
Fans are excited with what they've seen from you on the field. What is one thing or two things they may not know about you off the field?
Right now, I'm a big skier, big snowboarder. I'm trying to get into that. I feel like I spoke earlier about it, but there are not a lot of mountains or hills out here. But I feel like that's something that I'm, most definitely probably that's a secret of mine that people don't know.
We got Mississippi here. It's not the biggest of hills, but it might scratch that itch for you.
What's the change? Can the change be energizing too, going from Edmonton to here?
For sure. I definitely feel like that the motivation of me wanting to come here and wanting to, fit in and be a winner, I think that it's extremely energizing, and just knowing that what I have to bring to the team and what the team is going to give me in the aspect of learning and growing. I think that it's a big, I would say it would be a big, I kind of want to use a word that I guess describing just the relationship that I feel like me and Winnipeg are going to build, and I think it's going to be special.
How difficult was it for you in Edmonton? It's been a tough goal for you in the last few years. What did you kind of learn about the mental process of the game when things are difficult that way?
I probably would just say that, you kind of got to stick the sand, just basically stick with the going when the going gets tough, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But, like I said, and I think everybody pretty much knows that the years weren't good, and I felt like, learning, how to, and that's kind of something I learned while watching Winnipeg and watching teams like Toronto, taking pieces from each team and seeing how well that, whatever my former team could have done better or myself and picking up that. And I think that, that's something I've always spoke highly about Winnipeg. I felt like, it might have been a game not too long ago, that last year that we had played, and we were winning at Edmonton, and they stuck with it at the halftime and end up coming back and beat us. And I felt like that was something that I spoke to Edmonton about, just saying, this is something that great teams do, great organizations do.